Of course, for the table, it's not quite yet done. They are qualified, they already knew that, but PSV, of course, have closed the gap now to 2 points, so Arsenal will need to match PSV's result next week. Arsenal at home to Zurich, therefore, have to win to be certain of finishing top of Group A and missing that playoff round in the new year, saving themselves 2 games in the process. So a win next week now required after tonight's defeat. Joe and Martin have been watching with me. Martin, bad night?
Yeah, disappointing. First defeat in 10, as we know. It will be hurting in that dressing room. I think he made 5 changes before tonight's game and thought that was going to be enough. He believed in the players and it didn't work out. And they were second best, certainly De Jong coming off the bench. Arsenal didn't seem to have any answers to that physicality when he was pumping balls into him. The atmosphere was difficult for them. And in the end, it's one of those that are going to have to go away and lick their wounds and come back strong at the weekend.
We talked at half-time maybe about how resolute they were at the back, but the 2 goals, you've both seen weaknesses.
Yeah, very poor for the 2 goals. You know, for the first half they was resolute, they were together, they were diligent, the line was good. But here on this occasion, Rob Holding gets the wrong side. He gets turned by De Jong, and then Lokonga just switches off. They're the basic mistakes, that the fundamentals that get you through. They was off it on this occasion, weren't they?
You've got to stay goal side. A big man coming on, 6'3", 6'4". Holding's got to come across there.
Yeah, he sees him.
Yeah, in that sort of position, just be behind, but you can get protection. Lokonga could do more, actually, with the initial ball. And then he just switches off, Lokonga. He's got to be breaking. He's got to be breaking every sinew in his body to get back there and get a block in. And it's just an easy finish in the end. Goalkeeper really no chance. But he shouldn't be getting that kind of space.
That clip there, if like Mikel Arteta shows that to his players and about the details and the fundamentals, if they was to nail that down like they did in the first half, they come away with a point in this game, or they win the game with some bit of magic. But there's more questions than answers for him tonight. But he needs to.
He was ruthless though. Both players were hooked.
Yeah,
they were straight away.
Within minutes of that mistake. So he's identified where he thinks the problem was.
Yeah,
now it's quite a tough school.
On the second goal, Ramsdale, Tierney. Both of those, what do you see?
But again, De Jong, it's Tierney's picking him up, and straight away I'm screaming at the telly, why is he doing that? And then I think Ramsdale comes, thinks he can cure it, he can come and answer that problem, but it's a big haymaker. It's one of those, he should be going with a straight arm, more control, and it's wild. But look, Tierney doesn't even get off the ground, and I'm not even sure why Tierney is actually coming up against him.
It's not a foul, is it, that he's got his arms on Tierney's shoulders?
No, and I think in the build-up to that, Matt, if I'm with Joe there and Joe's picking up this big foul, I'm going to actually make myself available to come and help him and actually be available to head that.
Yeah.
Holding didn't do that.
I've done that role when you're blocking, and what you have to get contact. You're not enough where you get pansy and give away a penalty, but Tierney needs to back into Luke de Jong, so on his jump he knocks him off balance, affect him, and he just didn't there. And then obviously Ramsdale needed to come and do better with a punch.
Just a bad week? I know the draw at Southampton, let's not get too excited, but now
don't want to be too critical to this group of players, because we've enjoyed watching them play and they're putting the win together, and Arsenal fans are getting very excited. But today's a little reminder that there's still work to do.
Yeah, still playing in Zurich, so that isn't. In fact, hearing Zurich have actually taken the lead against Bodo, so that won't make any difference effectively to Arsenal's job next week. They still need to win to be sure. But what it means is he'll have to pick as strong a team as he thinks he needs to beat Zurich 3 days ahead of Chelsea. That's what it actually means to Arsenal. Yeah,
that's difficult for him, and I fully expect them to do that. It's just that you don't want this result to derail the team. I think he knows now that it really needs to be, though, when they have a difficult test, to have his best 11. 5 people missing tonight from the start, put 5 subs on, and of course, the strength in depth, not quite there. But when they're not playing regularly, you get these mistakes here and there, Matt. But I think as long as they can learn from this, they'll be hurting, but they use that then as fuel going into the Forest game at the weekend.
It's a bit of calmness, I suppose.
Yes, and we both looked at Mikel Arteta. He's got a very young backroom staff now. And it's all been pats on the back so far, and everything's going well, wins, and there's been fireworks going off at the Emirates, and everyone's been in a good mood.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have to lift Rob Holding. He might need him. He's going to have to lift Lokonga. If Partey gets injured, he's going to need him. So there's a different challenge to his management now. These coming days before the Forest game, you've got to lift the team, remind them how good they are, and just do the basics well, and they'll go and get the result of the weekend. What you don't want is what Martin said, is you don't want this to affect now going into the Premier League.
Thank you, Joe. You're staying with us. Martin, thank you as always. Your work here is done for tonight, but we're going to need you next week as Mikel Arteta.
One of these, look at the body position of these defenders. They're covering off the runs. For me, straight away I'm screaming offside, because it's a really good line. Keeper's a bit late coming out. And then the linesman just confirmed that. Look, really good line. They're all together. They're covering off the runners. They know where each other are. Good communication, and it's just a matter of time before the flag will eventually come up. And of course, we thought, didn't we, just before half-time that they'd scored yet again. But again, look, that line is coming up, pushing up, and that initial ball that goes in catches them offside. It's a little bit sloppy here. I'd like to see someone take a better responsibility. But because they have a good line, you see it from this angle, look, I really like that. Not a lot of pressure on the ball, but they're prepared to say, do you know what, let's get up together, perfect line, and then they catch their opponent offside.
I mean, it's a gutter for him, isn't it? Because he's done so much good work after that.
Yeah, we give him the build-up, and he's been busy, he's been bright, he's got on the ball. He's been one of the better players in the final third, you know, but like Martin said, it's not often you associate this Arsenal team for many, many years, since Martin's days, where you think defence have really kept them in the game there, some bright, bold, diligent defending, and the line was excellent. And going forward, they was pretty poor.
Yeah, they created scenarios, Arsenal, but then been a bit sloppy by their standards up front.
Yeah, and Martinelli in particular, I'm a big fan of his, but he's had an off night, and you know, so often they're picking the wrong pass, the timing of the movement. You know, in this situation, there's just a simple 5-yard pass from Vieira didn't quite work out. They're getting the bodies forward, comes out wide, good occupation of the box, and then just it was falling down at the last minute. You know, this Arsenal team, we've seen them flow so much this year, but just not in this occasion. This turn, just dillying and dallying on the ball and not really getting it, and then it was one of the nights.
Joe, I think when you're making these changes, 5 changes, it just affects the flow, affects the rhythm. But tonight, the first touch for each player, not quite what you'd expect. I think Arteta will be in there now saying, come on guys, let's get the basics right. Control the thing first. They just can't get over that. That was a really good opportunity. And he knows there's more that he can get out of this team. Definitely better, he'll be expecting better in this second half from Arsenal.
He won't be worried about that end of the pitch. I think he'll be one of them who get the lads in and say, listen, we've got away with one there. Big thumbs up to the back four and the goalkeeper keeping him. And I know you guys can do better, and they probably will. You've got Saka on the bench.
Yeah, Jesus.
Different ball game.
Yeah.